If you're feeling emotionally numb and spiritually depleted and stuck in this cycle of struggle and this cycle of survival, it's because you are built up, your body has built up toxicity. You are toxic because you have absorbed the energy for far too long from these toxic jobs, a toxic system, a broken system. And so, Queen, it is time that we do a full body detox and cleanse you mindset, I should say, money. Well, we're going to get into that shortly. Okay. I'm not even going to go into it yet. We're going to get there. I'm jumping ahead, but we are going to do a full cleanse. Okay. It's time for a full body detox. And now is the time, like right now. Okay. Because you've already been accumulating the toxicity from these environments for way too long as it is. So we don't have time to waste. But I first want to talk about what corporate toxicity looks like. What does, building up corporate toxins even mean or look like, right? Specifically, what that is perfectionism masked as productivity. I talk about that a lot, right? Productivity masked as, perfectionism masked as productivity, okay? Guilt around rest. Anytime you want to get rest, anytime you do rest, you feel guilty, you feel shamed, you feel embarrassed, you feel like, I feel like I should be busy doing something because I'm so used to working and working hard and hustling, right? And so you've been doing that for so long that when you do finally rest, you feel guilty about that. It also looks like golden handcuffs. So yes, you've got a steady paycheck coming in, but what you don't have is peace. And yet you're still tied to or handcuffed to your desk, even though you're dying at your desk every day. Okay? It looks like living for praise, living for promotions, and living for performance reviews. And deprioritizing your peace and your purpose for what? To be seemingly professional, I suppose. So we've got to talk about what we're doing here. Like, what are we really doing? And what we need to do to undo all of this doing and relearn, new things. Because we've been conditioned, we've been brainwashed in this system. And like I said, it is a broken system. That broken system is called corporate America. That's what I call it because that's what it is. And what I want you to know, sis, is that we're not born to beg for PTO or shrink your soul to fit into someone else's mission statement. Okay? So now, before we even go too deep, if you're getting what I'm giving and you love these gems I'm dropping, go ahead and leave a comment right now so we can get this discussion popping. And as we go through this discussion, I want you to let me know what's resonating with you. What's an aha moment? What's pulling on those heartstrings? Where are you in the journey right now? And let me know specifically what's hitting home, okay? But also, if you're getting value from not only this episode, but any of my videos or any of the content here on my page, if you perused around, then go ahead and subscribe and hit the notification bell so you never miss a single episode whenever I drop new content and or go live, okay? So let's get into the consequences of not detoxing. The consequences of not detoxing, burnout cycles, right? That means even when you leave your 9 to 5, guess what? The drama, the karma, and the trauma still lingers. It still comes with you. It follows you. There are residual effects that will keep showing up because you didn't heal that. And that's why it's important to do the deeper work, the internal healing, so that you can expedite your external success. And that's what I do and teach you how to do as a holistic business coach and RN health and wellness educator, okay? Also, self-sabotage, right? We've got to stop self-sabotaging. And self-sabotaging, if you're self-sabotaging in the corporate space, you are certainly going to carry that into your business. That could look like undercharging, over delivering, people pleasing, taking on clients that drain you, right? They're not the right fit, they're not aligned, but you've got like desperate energy, self-sabotaging energy, and you're accepting people that you otherwise wouldn't if you were more aligned and if you were operating from a place of being healed and feeling whole, and you got rid of that toxicity. Otherwise, you attract the wrong people instead of repel them. Make sense? Okay. It also means you're feeling lost when trying to define your own identity or your own mission in life. And maybe you know what it is, but maybe you've kind of gotten lost in all of the confusion and the confusion and this maddening cycle. Okay. So we need to talk about that. So I was getting ahead of myself earlier, but now we finally made it here. And I want to just quickly talk to you about what the 3 steps are. Like, it's a recovery phase we're in right now when we're detoxing. So what are the 3 steps? Very simple. Got a pen and paper? Write this down. Or come back and watch this video because I don't want you to be distracted. I want you to pay attention to what I'm saying right now with your whole heart and both your ears. I want you to listen. Don't multitask. Listen to what the plan looks like so you can start doing it and get a better outcome quicker, faster, and sooner. Okay. The first thing is we've got to do the mind work, right? We have got to reprogram your mind. Remember I said that we are brainwashed, right? We're brainwashed in this system. The system really is toxic and it's very, very broken. Okay. So we first got to retrain our brain. You have got to rewire your beliefs around and about success and identity. A job does not define you, but somehow you are led to believe and you take on the ownership of this job as if it is your own when it is not, right? Like, you don't know who you are without this job because you've been there a long time perhaps, or you've been in corporate America for a long time and you don't know what you would do or who you really are, or you don't remember because you haven't stayed connected to the true you. So you have allowed this brainwashing to deepen and trick you into believing, and even you convince yourself that it's true. You've accepted this as the truth, that the traditional corporate career path is the only way to your success, to a successful life. And that's just not true. It could not be further from the truth. You really and truly can have a better life and a holistic success. And it doesn't need to include a job at all. Okay. But rewiring your brain is what I was saying, reprogramming your brain, rewiring your mind. You need to release that employee mindset, that clock in, clock out, your voice is not valued, that whole mindset that comes with corporate. I need you to not only reclaim, but embody CEO energy, because you need to take ownership of your life, your brand, and your business, not what corporate has created for you and handed to you. Okay? Not the whole laundry list of duties and other duties as assigned. Not that. You need to shake up things a bit, rewrite the rules, right? Play a different game, dream bigger, and want more for yourself. And again, become the CEO of your life as a whole. Okay? So the next thing is number 2. I said there's 3 parts. So we talked about mindset briefly. Now there's the money issue, right? You've got to heal your relationship with money. What is your money story, your money trauma, your money drama, your money karma? I'm talking about the money you're earning, the money you're receiving, the money you're saving, the money you're investing or not. Is your relationship with money toxic or healthy? We've got to tell ourselves a different story about money. We've got to start feeling differently about money. We've got to have a different and a very healthy relationship with money. And that starts with understanding what it is now for us, right? And where did it come from? Where did the money story and the money drama and karma and trauma and all that stem from? Usually our upbringing and from what, fears were projected on us, right? Part of our upbringing because of our culture. If you come from, just a scarcity or poverty mindset, if you lived in poverty, like I did, I grew up poor by financial class, even though I was rich in love, we still were considered poor. Okay. And so I understand what those money stories look like, and you have to define that for you. So think about what those things are. What did you hear growing up, right? Money don't grow on trees. It takes money to make money. You got to work hard for the money, and all of those other stories, robbing Peter to pay Paul, like all the stories, all the everything that you've ever heard and learned. Money is the root of all evil, right? I mean, it's a whole song about money, for the love of money, right? So, and especially if you're religious, and some religious people tend to have a lot of other issues about money, around money, and how that equates to success or doesn't, right? Or why they feel they don't deserve it. So, you've got to deal with those demons, right? Or you've dealt with those demons, and now it's time for you to get clear as to why you still have those issues now, where the problem initially stemmed from, so we can start to heal that. You understand what I'm saying? So do you have a healthy or toxic relationship with money? And that's the money situation. Because we want to go from, if you have money issues and you're not good with money, you don't have a good relationship with money, a healthy relationship, that's also going to linger and come into your business, right? And other aspects of your life. It actually could be an area of your life, if you're in a relationship, that there's conflict there, right? A lot of couples do break up from financial problems and the way that they view money, what their perspective is and how their viewpoint is about money and what their experiences have been about money and success. So you really need to check, what is your current reality and how can we change that? We want to go from having going from underpaid and undervalued and underappreciated to unapologetically charging your own worth. What are you worth, and what is your work worth? So that when you get into working with these clients of yours, your ideal clients, you're not going to be having desperate energy and wanting to work with just anybody. You understand what I'm saying? You're going to be like, nope, all money ain't good money. And you're going to feel like giving all them dollars in coins right on back, okay, to some of the people that you might be inclined to work with, but you otherwise wouldn't if you were operating from a level of higher awareness and a healed place. Understand what I mean? So we want to make sure that you go from, go to unapologetically charging your worth, owning your worth, and charging the right premium prices for your products and services. Okay. Then the third thing is mission. Okay. We want to redefine your purpose outside of corporate labels and corporate titles, important sounding titles that oftentimes don't match your paycheck. But to you, especially if you're making six figures, but it still might be that, yes, you're making great money, you have a steady paycheck, but is it really what you're worth? You know what I'm saying? The God-given gifts, your talents, your sweat equity, you are a very valuable asset, and yet you're capped at a certain dollar amount. Is what you're doing in the corporate arena, in your job, really worth it? And is it really worth it for you to stay in a toxic job and continue to absorb that negative energy and stay in that space? Is keeping you in being confined in that cubicle, that corner office with the window view, even the C-suite. Doesn't matter what bonuses and benefits and perks you have. The reality is, if it is a toxic environment that you are going into each and every day, you are absorbing that energy, and it is making you toxic as well. Is it worth it? Is it worth your soul? Is it worth your sanity? Is it worth your health? Is it worth your happiness? We don't want to compromise any of those things, right? Or sacrifice any of those things. So we've got to stop defining ourselves by someone else's mission statement. We've got to redefine ourselves out of someone else's labels and titles. Who are you when you are not someone's employee? And that's the question I want you to ask yourself and answer. Okay? That's the question of the day. Who are you and how do you define yourself outside of corporate America and outside of someone being someone's employee? Now, I have a warning for you because I know it's easy to skip this work, but this is the very important work you absolutely have to do. You have to. You cannot skip this phase. This is all a part of detoxing, and detoxing is not optional. You understand? It's not optional. It is the foundation to building a sustainable business and life. So please do not skip this. Okay, this is really the internal work that I help you do, but I'm giving you a great start, a place to start right now so that you can implement, get into radical action, execute on what I'm saying so you can start to see results. You want to turn your life around? This is the way to go. Okay, this is where we are right now. This is how we've got to get rid of everything that's built up inside of us that's causing all of these secondary issues, right? From the primary problem, which is toxic work environments. Does that make sense? So if you are ready, okay, ready for a mind, money, and mission cleanse, like a real deep detox. I gave you, what you need right now to get started, but you've got to know in a matter of 15 to 20 minutes that I've been talking to you, the work goes much deeper, right? So if you're ready for that, I want you to book a Freedom and Focus Clarity call with me today. Let's go ahead and start building a plan, right? Get a plan in place so that you can feel aligned. I don't want the trauma to linger any longer. So let's stop carrying the trauma, right? The karma, the drama with us. Let's go ahead and get rid of that. In fact, I did an entire video, by the way. I'll make sure it's in the card above or in the description below so you can go right to it. In fact, I'll have it pop up at the end for the card so that you can watch that video and understand better of what I mean about how you may leave the job, but the trauma comes with you. Okay, that's a very important message that I don't want you to miss. And so I go deeper in that. But if you are ready to have a full body cleanse, like I said, mind, money, and mission, then we want to make sure you book that call today, okay? Because you're going to continue to feel out of alignment if you don't. Now, I want to explain that a clarity call is not a free coaching call. It is exactly what it sounds like. It is to provide you with the clarity and the insights you need. It is a 50-minute soul-aligned strategic or strategy session that is designed specifically with you in mind, right? It's going to help you reclaim your peace and your power and help you map out the most aligned next step. Where do we go from here? Where are you in the journey? I'm going to meet you there. And then where are we now and where do you ultimately want to be? Okay, so you're going to walk away with clarity and confidence, and specifically, you're going to have a personalized game plan in hand, ready to go, so you know exactly what to do when you leave that call. You are also going to have clarity on what's keeping you stuck, what's holding you back, what's pulling you back. Like maybe you leave and you go back and you leave and you go back. What's that about? Like, what is that really about, right? We got to talk about that. But it's also a way for us to test the waters and see if this is something, do you just need one-off support or do you need deeper, meaningful work in a longer container, one-on-one or group coaching? I have those available too. So we can talk about other ways in which I can support you and go into the details of that, okay, on the call. But it is a face-to-face Zoom call. So we'll be talking to each other, getting to know each other better, and it's no pressure. I do need you to know that if you decide and we decide that it's a good match and you want to go further and work with me, we can talk about that. But if not, you're still going to walk away with everything that I just said. Okay. So it's a win-win situation either way. And that's the bigger message I want you to take home with you today. All right. Now, that's my time. So I'm going to tune out while you tune in. Be sure to share this video out with at least 3 friends and watch the next video that YouTube recommends. And I said I'm going to put up that one about the trauma. So I'll be sure to do that. Okay. Forgive me if I don't. If I forget, I'll make sure it's in the pinned comments or somewhere you can find it, or just peruse my page and search it out. As always, and until next time, I am wholeheartedly in this journey with you. Bye for now.